III rewarded Thomas's valiant efforts in battle and gave him an annuity of £40 a year. This was later exchanged for a piece of land by Thomas's granddaughter Margaret. The estate that she chose was Lyme. For the next 300 years, the Lees of Lyme found their stories twisting and turning throughout the history of England itself. Margaret's son was wounded at the Battle of Agincourt, and Piers V fought at the Battle of Bosworth in 1485. Following the death of his wife Ellen, he turned to the family's Catholic religion and was ordained as a priest in 1512. There had been a hunting lodge on the site at Lyme since the late 1400s, but this was demolished when Piers VII built the bones of the house we see today in the middle of the 16th century. Lyme is like any house that has been owned by the same family for a long time, each generation adding something new. Small changes were made, but it wasn't until Peter Lee XII employed Giacomo Leone in the early 1700s that the house came to resemble a great Palladian mansion. Leone added the south front and established the iconic view of Lyme that we see today. In his youth, Peter had been heavily involved with a group of local landowners who called themselves the Cheshire Gentlemen, and they wanted to see James II restored as a rightful English monarch. The highly treasonous meetings took place in the Stag Parlour and resulted in Peter being arrested twice and imprisoned in the Tower of London. Colonel Thomas Peter Lee was Lyme's resident Lothario, fathering 7 illegitimate children to 7 different lovers. His early death meant that Lyme and the Lee family estates were inherited by his young son, Thomas. Thomas was the gentleman explorer of Lyme, as well as being a doctor of civil law, an MP and a shrewd businessman. As a single man in possession of a good fortune, he employed fashionable architect Lewis White to transform the uneven mismatch of rooms into a suitably splendid Regency residence. The influences from his travels can be seen throughout the house, and he was the engineer of the golden age of the estate, his canny investments and foresight ensuring the family's prosperity well into the next century. Following his death in 1857, Lyme passed to his nephew, William Lee, who was a Member of Parliament and elevated to the peerage as Baron Newton for political services in 1892. His son, the second Baron Newton, served as Paymaster General during the First World War and was a member of the Privy Council. But it is the books of his wife Evelyn and his daughter Phyllis that reveal more about Lyme. Lady Newton's The House of Lyme is a history of the estate and family, whereas Treasure on Earth gives an intimate account of a family Christmas at Lyme at the turn of the 20th century. After the Second World War, the family's prime source of income, coal, was requisitioned by the government, and in 1946, Richard Lee began talks to hand over the house and the surrounding parklands to the National Trust.